Okay guys, today I'm going to make a really quick tutorial on how to increase your FPS in Counter-Strike Source since the update. What happened was there's a lot of multi-threading capabilities that are turned off by default, which decreases performance a lot. If you don't know what multi-threading is, it's just basically the program's ability to use all the cores of your processor as opposed to only one. Like if you have a quad core processor, chances are your game is only running on one of those cores uh, right now. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go and we're gonna change that. We're gonna open up the start menu and search for system information. If you don't have Windows 7 or Vista, you're just gonna go to your control panel and find it. It's kind of confusing. Just look for it. In your processor here, under your system information, you're going to look at the number of cores and the number of logical processors. What we care about is number of logical processors, and because that is the number of threads that your game will use to handle all of its calculations and such. So I have a dual core processor and I have two logical processors. Um, Most often these two are going to stay exactly the same unless you have an i7 processor or something as recent as that. And if that's the case, you'll probably have twice as many logical processors as you do cores. Um, but that doesn't matter. We're just looking at the number of logical processors right now. We're going to go into our Steam library and our games and our properties, and in general we're gonna go to set launch options, and you see it's already typed in there, but I'm gonna type in threads, which is the command to enable multi-threading, and from there we're gonna type the number of logical processors we had in our system information, and in my case it's 2, so I'm putting in 2, and I'm gonna hit OK and exit all out of that. That's done. That's one part, and it's really easy, and it should give you just an overall more smooth experience in the game, which is good. And for the second part, we're going to be opening up Counter-Strike, and for example, I'm just going to join. If it's going to let me join, I'm going to join the Dust2 server. I guess it's not. That's not a big deal. In console, we're going to type mat underscore Q mode, which is going to show up right there for you. By default, it's set to -2, which is the legacy default option, which pretty much means it uses the old option that old source could handle. What we're going to want to change it to is to -1, which is the default option, and by default I mean it is the default that your computer can handle. So if you set it to default, it will be the best option possible for your computer. So we're just going to go ahead and type in matq mode -1, and if I were able to join a game right now, I'd show you that my frames per second would increase by approximately 50 to 60. In game, I normally get 120 frames per second, like on Dust2 for example, and after enabling it and setting it to -1, I got 210, which is quite a difference. That's pretty much concludes this. I have a bunch of other bug fixes and/or performance boosters that I've put in on the forums. So if you want to go check that out too, it's amitygaming.org, and just look for it in the announcements section. But other than that, that's pretty much it, and I hope it works for you.